Male hierarchies and male solidarity, and today's big problem in this respect. These are my personal reflections, and English is not my first language, so please bear with me. First, let me start with the much simpler and brutal female pecking. Young girls are known to have their besties. But females always have friends with a purpose. If there is any solidarity, it's conditional in one way or another. Later on, girls become competitors, often ostracizing and fighting each other. Who has not heard about catfighting? Women can sometimes not stand each other. Now let me say my thoughts and opinions on the male peck order and about male solidarity. To rule or govern any form of tribe or community, there must be some kind of order in the performance of things, as well as in the decision making. When males work together, it's more about efficiency than about dominating. Like an orchestra, who are most important? The conductor, or the soloist, the string section or the brass? Well, all are equally important, but someone must just have the function of leadership. Let me take another example from when I was a boy. 60 years ago, I practiced in a big factory where my uncle was employed. The company manufactured boots and had a workshop branch making tools for the machines that pressed the rubber into boots. My uncle was a typical blue-collar worker, but an experienced turner, and he had great prestige. Even the CEO came down now and then to the workshop floor to communicate with my uncle to ask for advice that could have economic importance. He even got gratuity for good work and money-saving inventions, and he and his wife were invited to dinner to the CEO's home. In a formal peck order he was, though, not very high up. But he had much respect and even admiration. I figure this is the way male hierarchies work. For the tribe to survive, we are all needed, but some must have, or be elected, to be decision makers, chief, or boss if you like. For men it's easy to accept his place in a hierarchy along with his workmates, that's the way it was for centuries. But, in contrast to the female hierarchy, there is much more solidarity, trust, interdependence, and even comradeship among males. Evolution has made this a necessity. Females are concerned with, and fight primarily for their kids and near family. Males have to look after the tribe, otherwise their genes will be wiped out. Not so for the female. Male hierarchies are thus quite complicated and involve different tracks and areas, not just the SMV part as one might think looking on YouTube videos. It infers costs and efforts to fight in order to get a higher rank, and I think most males settle for an acceptable place and just stop fighting on, sometimes signaling this by, for example, not maxing demeanor and not showing off. This can be seen as a means to avoid the consequences of the Peter Principle. Now, this order of things, the way male hierarchy, or peck order if you like, works, or worked, was fruitful, even a necessity, to build great cultural civilizations. But it worked only under one critical condition: strict monogamy. In his extensive study published in 1934, Joseph D. Unwin came to this conclusion, though he actually started out to prove the opposite. In a monogamous society, males and females have to pair up even. That is necessary for the male hierarchy to function and thus have a stable society. Women do not understand the way male hierarchies work. They compare to the female construct of dominance and subjugation, and in mating selection their natural trait of hypergamy kicks in, and they tend to see the top guys as just dominating the other men. Today, when promiscuity has spiraled to such an extent that it has almost become a standard, male hierarchies break up. And society crumbles. Now men have to compete to get to the top 10% dominant males. The unsuccessful majority will have to adopt to the new rules, in one way or another. The female hypergamy will now also give a free pass to the bad, dark triad, guys presupposedly not so interested in male solidarity. Now there is no monogamic rules to keep them in order. The society will become rude and lose its cultural features. A majority of men, 80 to 90%, will have very little sex, or none at all. This will hurt women just as much as men. The result will be violence and crimes, rapes, gangs, drugs, indifference, Solitude and suicide. In another video I will discuss the possibility to call out for male solidarity. I have seen some of my fellow YouTubers approach the subject. It's not easy, though, since half of the top 10%ers probably belong to the dark triad or have other psychopathic traits. But there still are a number of good guys, real alphas, that may understand that they are complicating things for the rest of the men, and thus maybe refrain from using the irresponsible conduct of today's women. Remember, to build and retain a cultural society, one tenet is unshakable: no hymen, no diamond. Bye.